It's a typical winter morning in Louisiana. You hear mud motors running in the back. I'm standing here with a cup of coffee. We're getting ready to go duck hunting. We're packing down the shells, packing down the dog. Come on, go with us this morning and see what we can kill. Well, you know, the trip started at Bayou Black Marina, and from there, about 45 minutes south by boat, you know, we arrived here at Oak Island. You know, that in itself was an adventure. Well before the hunt started and any of the rest of it, just getting to the camp and seeing it. Here we are out in the middle of nowhere, and here's this beautiful live oak grove, you know, so that part's pretty cool in itself. The scenery here is unbelievable, because you have a little bit of everything. You know, you have the live oak trees, but then you're looking over thousands and thousands of acres of open marsh.
Been hunting down here for about 12 years, and it's just, I found paradise. It's a wonderful, incredible place. You know, we're 40 minutes from land. It's quite remote, obviously. And we're in this beautiful place with all the oak trees around us, and one of this big Chenier, and the duck hunting's phenomenal.
You know, this is my first trip to the marsh duck hunting. I spent a lot of time red fishing and bass fishing in the marsh, but never been on a hunting trip of any kind in the marsh. So the opportunity to do that, especially with someone who has, you know, such lush accommodations too, you know, out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, that's pretty awesome in itself.
You know, Greg talks with a little bit of a hick accent, and so I figured he hadn't been down south as down much and in the marsh. So we just wanted to do this deal, to take him down here and see what it was like and experience camp life, Bayou style, so to speak.
We surviving right now. This is the easy way to fix a duck blind. Best way to cut the cover for the duck blind.
That's absolutely true.
And to think of what went on here in days past, you know, so much history here, from, you know, a trapping camp being here originally to the time when Indians were here. I mean, there's no telling if this island could tell a story, you know, how much has went on here in time.
This is Ryan Terrio. I'm here at Bowie Outfitters, and listen, I'm an avid bow hunter. If you're looking for a place with the best service in the South and wonderful accessories, not to mention a top-of-the-line bow range, Bowie Outfitters is a place for you. A wonderful staff here and great service at Bowie, but an awesome selection of guns. We have pistols, rifles, and shotguns, and everything else you could imagine. And for all those hard-to-find bass fishing and inshore products, Bowie Outfitters is a place for you. That's Bowie Outfitters for everything outdoors, in between Essen and Bluebonnet on Perkins Road.
Lafourche Parish, Louisiana. Dig in.
Do you want the better selection and bigger savings? Service Chevrolet Cadillac has the largest inventory of Chevys in Louisiana. You can choose from over 300 Silverados, all in one location. The Chevy Silverado has the best pickup coverage in America and the lowest cost of ownership of any full-size pickup on the road. Shop the better selection and get bigger savings at Service Chevrolet Cadillac, 1212 Ambassador Caffrey, or visit us at servicegm.com.
'Tis the season, whether hunting or holidays, ShopSportsmanStore.com has what you want. Featuring new in-the-field performance shirts that provide maximum comfort while you look cool and stay dry. Whether on the boat or in the woods, be seen with our new Blaze Orange Performance hat. Without leaving your home and the click of the button, you'll be on your way to buy the gift of camo this season. Check out our camo hats with Realtree Max 4 camo and our camo shirts, short sleeve and long, shirts, hats, sunglasses, jewelry, wallets, and decals. ShopSportsmanStore.com. Sportsman, it's who we are.
Today's string material will last a really long time, but they need proper care. You need to wax the string on a regular basis, especially during hunting season when you have it in and out of the elements. Once the string becomes frayed, it's going to slow the performance of the bow down, and it's going to start actually wearing faster. So you want to keep it well lubed all the time. Another thing that you need to do is at least once a year, go to a qualified pro shop and have them look over the bow. You know, there's a lot of little things that can go wrong on a bow. You always need to check to make sure all the screws are tightened. But in addition, your strings and your cables are going to stretch throughout the year. The more you shoot it, they never really stop stretching. They get to a point to where the stretch really slows down, but there's always going to be some things changing in your bow setup. They can check the timing on your cams. They can check and make sure your peep sight's turning properly. See if you've got any nicks in your strings that is doing significant damage to it, and get your string replaced on there. I recommend at least once a year, before you start really shooting and getting prepared for the season, take your bow down to a local pro shop, get them to look over it, and keep that string really well waxed.
You know, when we first got here, of course, the first thing you do is unload, because you always, when you're at remote wilderness camp like we are, you know, you have to bring a lot of stuff in. You have to bring your ice, your food, your beer, whatever you might need while you're there, you know, all the necessities. And then as typical, you know, the typical camp life, there's always something there that needs to be fixed.
A camp is work, but if you don't do a lot of physical labor, and that's like myself, I normally sit behind a desk unless I'm fishing or hunting. This is all man stuff out here. It's really neat. You get to work on boats. You're constantly fixing something. There's something that always needs to be done, and so it's constant. And when you pull up in the boat, every time, I don't care if it's 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, 6 people, the boat's going to be packed from one end to the other, because there's always gear to bring in, there's gas to bring in, there's diesel to bring in, there's food to bring in, people to bring in, our bags, our guns, but that's all part of the experience. It's a half-hour unload, and it'll be an hour load back up, and so it's kind of part of the whole experience of you don't drive up here, so everything has to be brought here. So it's very interesting.
You know, we got in a boat and we went for a little ride, rode through the marsh, through an area, you know, close to where we were going to hunt at the next day. And we actually went over to some other people's camp. Again, typical camp life. I mean, they're building decks. There's kids in boats. They're fishing. They got a carpentry project. You know, they're working on their outside kitchen. You can tell. I mean, the day before we got there, they had built a whole deck in front of the camp and built a fire pit in it. I mean, you know, to survive out here, that's really what you need to be able to do. You need to be able to take care of yourself. You can't pick up the phone and call someone and say, hey, I need this, my plumbing's out, or hey, I need you to work on my electrical. I mean, you're basically plumber, electrician, hunter, fisherman, everything, cook. You have to be able to do it all out here. And it's really, I mean, it's basically camping. I mean, it's really camping. I know you have a camp to stay in, but this is really camping, you know, because you have to bring everything to have it. I mean, you know, there are people in other parts of the world that, you know, they travel up in the mountain and set up camp. Well, we basically in the middle of, surrounded by water on an island, you know, camping. So, I mean, it's top notch. And to see them, the craftsmanship, I mean, you know, working with what they have out here, you know, I'm sure they're finished with it today. I could tell by the way they were working. They built that whole deck and fire pit in one day. There's no doubt they're cooking over there today in the outside kitchen that they built yesterday, you know, so.
The hunting's part of it, for sure. But half the deal is family, friends, and just being out here. We have a campfire every night. We, you know, we eat good, we cook good. Well, sometimes we cook good.
You know how Cajun men cook? Cajun men cook like this.
Where'd you get these? Out the bayou, right there. 5 traps. Bring them back to a boil for 5 minutes, and let them sit for 20. Good to go. You're done.
We wonder what the rest of the world's doing right now, you know. We living off the land, eating crabs, pork chops cooking in the in the house, crabs cooking outside, we cooking duck on the grill. I mean, it's honestly don't know what to say. You know, again, it's just another day in paradise.
Why Bowie Outfitters? Our customers know why.
When you need something, you come in, you ask for it, and you can get it. Great selection of clothes here, guns, shells, calls, whatever you need. I like coming in and doing that. And more importantly for me, I'm a big bow hunter. I think these guys are better than anybody. That's why I come over to Bowie Outfitters.
That's Bowie Outfitters, Perkins Road between Essen Lane and Bluebonnet. Bowie Outfitters, for everything outdoors.
First, we introduced the new standard in side-by-side utility. Now we're giving it company. They share the most torque, the smoothest suspensions, the best storage, and a revolutionary collection of accessories. The 60-horsepower Ranger XP 900 and 5-passenger Ranger Crew 900. Together, they're a whole new class of hardest working, smoothest riding. Huge rebates and low financing available now during the Polaris holiday sales events.
How do you improve on the Evo? You start with its DNA, then engineer a bow that is fast, lightweight, and features the best technology. The Centerlock 2 pockets are highly adjustable, light, and quiet. The riser, forged from ultralight aircraft aluminum, creates a bow that weighs a mere 3.7 pounds. The Flex cable slide flexes during the draw cycle, relieving lateral torque. And the Core hybrid cams deliver a blistering 352 feet per second. Introducing the new Dream Season DNA. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Louisiana Sportsman magazine. For over 31 years, your source for fishing and hunting information. Each month you will find stories by local experts on everything from bass to redfish to ducks, deer to trout and turkey. We've got incredible local information that you can use immediately to get more success outdoors. You'll also enjoy monthly columns on cooking, the latest lures, GPS locations, shooting, kayaks, and much more. Have Louisiana Sportsman delivered to your house and save. $24.99 gets you a full year of Louisiana Sportsman. To order today, visit louisianasportsman.com.
How you doing? One thing that we've really seen over the last few years is a change in the brace height of the bow. The distance from the riser to the string has really gotten shorter. You know, 10 years ago they thought that a short brace height was really bad for accuracy, but it's not anymore. And the reason for that is the heavily preloaded limbs. What happens with the pass parallel technology and the heavy load on the limbs, the string is never allowed to travel nearly as far towards the riser as what it once did. When limbs were upright, the whole system moved forward. It let it get really close to the riser, really close to your hand. On today's bows, especially with the PSE's X-Force technology, the string is under so much force, it stops, and it's not allowed to travel towards the string. So what we call dynamic brace height, the distance of how close it gets to the riser, has been greatly reduced. A new bow with a 6-inch brace height will have the same dynamic brace height as a bow that used to be 7.5, 8 inches long. So there's some new rules out there. Bow geometry is changing the way a lot of the old rules of archery. Get out there and try one of these heavily preloaded bows like the PSE X-Force line. I think you'll really like it.
it's one of those cool deals. I have the opportunity in my profession, traveling all over the country, fishing with different people and hunting with different people. I'm a pretty good judge of character, and it didn't take me long this morning to figure out Tony really had his game together. Like he's serious about the duck hunting. The way they place the blinds, the way they grew the cane, you know, get the cane started, then you have a natural blind. The next year when you come back, you know, this cane growing. You know, from the way I noticed this morning, the way he had his decoy placement. You know, he didn't just throw decoys out at random, and you know, he had them fixed up for the wind. I mean, we were set up perfect this morning. The sun came up to our back. We got the north wind to our back. You know, the ducks are coming into our face. I mean, everything from the way he called. You know, he knew exactly the right times to call, not to call too much. He called loud when he needed to, and he called soft when he needed to. And he changed his call by the species of the duck, you know, depending on what was working at the time. Anytime you have the opportunity to go with somebody like that, you really need to do it because it's a learning experience.
You know, a lot of times you're out there in the marsh and you hear people just calling, and they're really calling too loud, or they're calling too much. So you have to vary the situation to what you got going on. If a bird is far, far off and you really want to call them hard and get them to turn towards you, you give them a lot of volume. You might want to give them a little welcome call. As you see, they're getting closer and closer. A little 3 quack or a 4 quack. When the ducks get real close, you know, just a little simple feed call. Or maybe a simple quack. But if they're coming in hot and they're coming right towards you, you might just want to shut up and be quiet and let them come on in. Every situation is different, every area is different, but out here in the marsh, that's been effective for us, put it that way. Depending upon the wind, that's always a big thing with decoy placement at your blinds. We've had a wind at our back, kind of a perfect wind for this blind, so basically what I did was just set up one big pod to the left and one big pod to the right, and I'll scatter a few right here in front of the blind. This is a blind made of natural rosewood cane. Over the years, we've planted the cane down in front of the boat blind. We have a boat blind stuck in there. And over the years, it grows up. And all we have to do is just chop it down. A lot of these islands that you see out here from in different places will be this very same thing. People who have taken rosewood and just cracked it in half. And over the years, it's grown up and made a natural blind.
The dog work was incredible. I mean, Tony's dog is, you know, I think out of the limit of ducks that we killed, maybe one she actually saw fall. I mean, blind retrieve on every duck. I mean, by far the best dog I've ever had the opportunity to hunt him with. That was the cool thing about some stories that came out last night about horror stories with a bad lab. And you know, that's just something that I think everybody has had to deal with at some time. So that's and cool. And then watching his dog work was extraordinary. I mean, she really was. I mean, every retrieve's a blind retrieve. That's the hardest retrieve there is. Other thing, all the ducks are falling downwind of her. So she doesn't have an opportunity to smell them, you know, until she gets out of the blind. And, you know, Tony's working her on hand signals. And I mean, that in itself was worth the trip. Basically, without doing any shooting, we got to watch them work in the decoys. And not many opportunities to do that, because most of the time, you know, if you don't shoot that duck, you're probably not going to get an opportunity, you know, to kill a limit. But we were able to do that plus kill a limit.
Why Bowie Outfitters? Our customers know why.
Bowie Outfitters is a friendly place. Bowie Outfitters is a very personable place. When you walk in the front doors, everybody's telling you hello, and it makes it very easy to come in here and shop and be a customer and go to the archery range and go to the gun counter just because you're going to get personalized service.
That's Bowie Outfitters, Perkins Road between Essen Lane and Bluebonnet. Bowie Outfitters, for everything outdoors.
Looks like it's gonna be another hot one. Do you have what it takes to keep your cooler cold for days? Or keep ice cream frozen on the beach? Or turn it into a chilly 28-degree bear cave? Arctic ice panels are designed to fit any cooler, whether it's small, medium, large, or extra large. Look for Arctic Ice at Bowie Outfitters in Baton Rouge, Simmons Sporting Goods in Bastrop, and Nichols Dry Goods in DeQuincy.
First, we introduced the new standard in side-by-side utility. Now we're giving it company. They share the most torque, the smoothest suspensions, the best storage, and a revolutionary collection of accessories. The 60-horsepower Ranger XP 900 and 5-passenger Ranger Crew 900. Together, they're a whole new class of hardest working, smoothest riding. Huge rebates and low financing available now during the Polaris holiday sales events.
Sportsman.com is the South's premier hunting and fishing website. Planning a hunting or fishing trip? Visit LouisianaSportsman.com and get up-to-the-date information on weather, tides, or solar data. Our breaking news and continually updating forum will keep you up to date. Or visit our report section and ask the locals what's been biting and where. Need to sell or buy an outdoor item? LouisianaSportsman.com's free classifieds are the quickest way for you to reach the outdoor market. LouisianaSportsman.com, the quick way to get the most of the outdoors.
You know, I pretty much enjoyed every time I pulled the trigger this morning. I like to hunt everything, you know, squirrels, ducks, whatever, but by far my favorite thing to do is shoot a shotgun. It's just a lot of fun, you know, shooting ducks. But I had a couple opportunities this morning. I made some really bad shots on some really good opportunities. I mean, I had some point blank shots this morning that I emptied the gun, and there's no doubt I was the one messing up because I was the only one shooting at the time. But by far the best duck hunt I've been on this year, and it'll be hard to top this hunt. You know, and not only just the hunting, you know, the hunting was good, but just the whole camaraderie at the camp. And, you know, there's a lot of people that have never been to camp. You know what I'm saying? There's people who go hunting, but they've never had the opportunity to come off like this. And, you know, I'd advise them to first opportunity you get to go with someone. If you don't have your own camp, if you get invited to go on one of these trips, don't turn it down. I mean, we live in a very blessed state to have, you know, great fishing, great hunting, all right here together. You know, so the opportunity to come to one of these camps and sit around the fire and tell stories and eat some good camp food. And I'll be honest with you, the food that we ate was top notch, any restaurant in the country, but the opportunity to sit out here in the island in the middle of the marsh and feast the way that we did, I mean, that's hard to beat.
And so I think he really enjoyed himself. It was quite an interesting hunt. We killed our limit. We had plenty of birds. We didn't kill the ones we wanted. Not a lot of drakes flying today. A lot of hens, but we had a great trip. We shot a lot of birds, and so I think he really enjoyed himself.
We definitely lived the Louisiana lifestyle this weekend, from the camp life, the camp food, to a great duck hunt. But the work's not over yet. Join us here next time on Sportsman TV.
Tis the season, whether hunting or holidays, ShopSportsmanStore.com has what you want. Featuring new in-the-field performance shirts that provide maximum comfort while you look cool and stay dry. Whether on the boat or in the woods, be seen with our new Blaze Orange Performance hat. Without leaving your home and the click of the button, you'll be on your way to buy the gift of camo this season. Check out our camo hats with Realtree Max 4 Camo and our camo shirts, short sleeve and long, shirts, hats, sunglasses, jewelry, wallets, and decals. ShopSportsmanStore.com. Sportsman, it's who we are.